r/AskReddit. What are some good internet rabbit holes to fall into during this time of quarantine? The family that couldn't sleep. I believe even the Vatican are involved in housing them and trying to come up with a cure. For 200 years a noble Venetian family has suffered from an inherited disease that strikes their members in middle age, stealing their sleep, eating holes in their brains, and ending their lives in a matter of months. In Papua New Guinea, a primitive tribe is nearly obliterated by a sickness whose chief symptom is uncontrollable laughter. Laughing death or laughing sickness in Papua New Guinea is called Kuru disease. It's a disease caused from eating human remains, particularly the brain. Something to do with a protein which broke down nervous tissue after being eaten. Prions are scary as hell. They can survive extreme temperatures, pressures, acids and strong bases like nothing. The recommended method of destroying them is putting them under intense pressure, heat and exposing them to very strong acids and detergents all at the same time for multiple cycles. This is obviously not possible in the human body, so there are no effective treatments. They can remain infectious for years outside of a host, and not even ionizing radiation affects them. I've been down a rabbit hole to make sourdough bread. I'm fascinated now. I didn't realize how the process works. I saw some lady who's been using the same starter since the 1970s, and she got hers from a woman who used hers for the last 100 years. Edit. Heck, this thing really blew up. People are asking for links, as I'm sure there are thousands. This was what a friend shared with me that started me into this now black hole. Seems like a good lad making bread. The Boyle clan Mothadal. The old Reddit quarantinaroo. Hold my corona, I'm going in. I thought reading about the Death Valley Germans was super interesting, and took a good few hours to read and do my own research. Edit. If it's asking for a login/password, that means the site is overwhelmed. I know it's frustrating, but I didn't realize it would get this much traffic. Try again in an hour or two, and it should be fine. Cannot recommend this one enough. I'd never heard of them until Reddit. A harrowing tale of how smart sensible folks find themselves out of their depth, but only after the point of no return. How easy it is to go missing. I've been getting into reading about quantum mechanics. I figure if the quarantine lasts a year or two I still won't understand any of it. One professor at my uni said, if someone tells you that they understand quantum mechanics, they don't. He was quoting Richard Feynman. If you think you understand quantum mechanics, you don't understand quantum mechanics. The professor could have been Richard Feynman. They weren't Richard Feynman until you asked. Ha ha ha, good quantum superposition joke. Got it? Here is a list of a couple hundred small homestead skills to build. Make a mallet with a branch and a hatchet. A bit of sewing. Make an adobe brick with mud from the backyard. Sharpen knives and tools. Dry some food. *=EDITED to fix typus. Good one. I'm going to go though that and see what I can do. This is so neat. Thanks. It'll be nice to have some skills for when society inevitably collapses. TV tropes. You'll suddenly start to refer scenes in movies as wow what a tearjerker and your whole family will hate you. But god is that website so fun to lurk. It's a terrible website. I hate it, that I love it. Seriously, as rabbit holes go this is one of the best. The Rotten Library. Rotten.com/library has an archive of essentially a pre-Wikipedia with hand-written articles on weird stuff, cults, murders, etc. It's cross-linked, so it's easy to get lost. It's a relic of when the web was just scattered information with no real way to find it. The Rotten Library was my teenage introduction to so many oddities that today get reposted on Reddit every few months. Edit. Found a mirror. Rotten Library mirror. Same. I spent so many hours on Rotten.com in my teens. My mum and I were obsessed with it. Opened my mind to a world of stuff. My 90s TV. This is a fun, novelty website where you can easily lose yourself for hours with nostalgia. Basically it uses YouTube videos to simulate watching TV in 90s and allows you to specify the year you want, along with what categories you want to see when you change channels. There is also a My 80s TV and a My 70s TV. You could always have a go at the internet's hardest puzzle, not prom. It's been online since 2004, but only 67 people ever made it through all 140 levels. I've been playing since 2007. I'm in the 70s now. Edit. Since many people are asking questions, feel free to check out the main site with rules, FAQ, and hints. On YouTube, I have been viewing this channel named Horror Stories. It's a collection of short but brief real-life horror stories of people who died in the most horrible, unimaginable, and unsuspecting way. No clickbaits, on-point storytelling. Mr. Nightmare is also pretty good at real-life scary stories. He has a great voice for telling scary stories, and makes good use of stock images and stock video to create atmospheric visuals. Mr. Nightmare is my favorite, but if you like that then you might enjoy Corpse Husband. The stories aren't the same, but they are true horror stories and most are stock images and such. But sometimes he does animated videos which are really good, because the animation is dark and creepy, which is perfect for the stories. Maybe you could find out what's on the second page of Google. There's a second page. It's known as the dark web. That's where the hacker 4chan resides. Khan Academy. I recommend this because it's become obvious that part of the problem right now is how many people didn't do well in school, me included. Big part of why I love this site, or did not have the opportunity, and thus tune out valuable information they don't understand. I wish more people took advantage of the fact that scholastic information is free, or close to it. Just gotta look for it online nowadays. Before the internet you had to be lucky enough to afford education and live in a place where that kind of opportunity was available. Most people in the past didn't get to change their future as easily as we can. My father's hope as a kid in the 70s was to, one day, be rich enough to have other people go to the library and find out things for him. Google's a fair bit cheaper. This and Crash Course on YouTube is also a fun YouTube channel to binge. They have series on tons of topics and always adding new ones. They're pretty funny and easy to follow. Good for light watching. Science channels. From entertaining to informative, science channels have been my favorite types of channels to binge. Source is one of the best at this. Backyard Scientist, Mark Rober, and Slow Mo Guys to name a few. And if you're up to a mental challenge, go for really heady, concept, theory-laden channels like PBS Space Time and Quantum Gravity Research. Kurzgesagt is also very good. 11/10 would recommend. He has burbs. So go to Wikipedia and pick a country and look at a history of their leaders. Can be interesting to see a list of them and the politics behind it, especially African countries, cause they're wild how often they switch and for why. You could always play the Hitler game. Hit a random page on Wikipedia. You have 5 pages to find Hitler. There's also a game where, if you click the first linked word in each article, you'll eventually end up on the article for philosophy. Edit. Ignore any of the first words inside parentheses. Yeah, it's a pretty cool fact honestly. I was like wow, the first time I heard this. Go check it out yourself. If you're into music, there are a ton of great channels on YouTube. Rick Beato does a lot of music and song analyzes. Alex Ball has done some documentaries about Roland and the Prophet's synthesizers. All really interesting history and information. True Cuckoo is a dude who has a ton of videos about synthesizers, drum machines and jams. Not to mention tutorials. There's so much that you can learn. I started with guitar and recently I got into synths and drum machines, and YouTube is a great place to get to learn from plenty of talented people. I missed a ton, but I guess you can do the exploring yourself. SCP and Warhammer 40k, Emperor text-to-speech. Greeting custodes. How are you this day? I got introduced to the SCP Foundation almost a year ago, and I'm still stuck in that rabbit hole. Someone in another thread recommended the YouTube channel Geography Now. I have been binge watching it for the past week. Really entertaining way to learn about all the countries in the world. Yeah, I highly recommend this one as well. The SCP universe. That's not just a rabbit hole, it's a black hole. One of my favorite things to do is look around on Google Earth at an area you never plan on traveling to. Zoom way in and learn about the small villages / communities / cities that live on completely different continents or tiny islands in the middle of nowhere. It's seriously insane how humans are willing to live anywhere